Welcome to this explainer. Okay, we are jumping right in today because we're looking at one of the most astonishing, completely jaw-dropping results in the nearly 100-year history of the FIFA World Cup. We're talking about the 2026 clash between Spain and Cape Verde. We're going to break down a match that perfectly proves exactly why we love this sport, because it's a place where statistics, pedigrees, and expectations can all just get thrown completely out the window in the span of 90 minutes. 0, 2, 0. Now, I know what you're thinking. On the surface, a goalless draw doesn't exactly scream blockbuster entertainment, right? But trust me, this specific 0-0 scoreline, played out at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, represents a literal David versus Goliath footballing miracle. It's a result that completely turned Group H upside down and sent massive shockwaves around planet football. Part 1, the ultimate World Cup mismatch. Let's set the stage here. On one side, you've got the absolute footballing royalty of Spain. I mean, these guys are the 2010 World Cup winners. They came into this as the reigning European champions, and they have a squad that is just absolutely loaded with the world's most elite, expensive talent. Then, on the exact opposite side, you have Cape Verde. Absolute tournament debutants. They're an archipelago nation off the coast of Africa making their very first appearance on the sport's biggest stage. They're affectionately known as the Blue Sharks, and the David and Goliath size discrepancy here is just mind-blowing. To really grasp the sheer scale of this mismatch, just think about this number, 525,000. That's it. That is the entire population of Cape Verde. We're talking about a country with fewer people than a lot of medium-sized cities, making them the third least populated nation to ever qualify for the tournament. And here they are, stepping onto the pitch to face Spain, a football-obsessed powerhouse of over 47 million people. Part 2, the siege in Atlanta. So, with the stakes set, let's look at the actual tactical reality of the match, because it was effectively a 90-minute defensive siege. Just looking at the match statistics tells the story. Spain completely dominated the ball. They held a staggering 74% possession and racked up 27 goal attempts, compared to just 6 for Cape Verde. Spain basically set up camp in Cape Verde's half and just relentlessly pressed their defense from the opening whistle to the final seconds of stoppage time. 74% to 26%. Having barely a quarter of the ball against the European champions, it's honestly mind-boggling that they survived. It is a massive testament to Cape Verde's incredible tactical resilience. They sat in this deeply organized low block, and they simply refused to buckle under the intense, suffocating pressure of the Spanish midfield. Okay, but within all that crazy Spanish possession, there is this one detail that's just, well, honestly, it's kind of hilarious. 31 minutes. That is exactly how long it took for Spain's starting striker, Mikel Oyarzabal, to touch the ball for the very first time. Think about that. He is the first player on record since 1966 to play the first 30 minutes of a World Cup match without touching the ball once. It just goes to show you how completely, stubbornly sealed off those central attacking areas were. Part 3. The 40-year-old wall. You've got to meet Vozinha. His real name is Josemar Diaz. He plays in Portugal's second division, and the nickname Vozinha actually means voice, a name he took to honor the grandparents who raised him. Making his World Cup debut at the ripe old age of 40, Vozinha played the absolute game of his life. He made 7 crucial saves, walked away with the Man of the Match award, and basically became a literal human wall against the Spanish onslaught. Let's actually map out this timeline of survival, because the tension was unbearable. Look at this massive cluster of attacks right before halftime. At 39 minutes, Fran Torres smashes the crossbar from 6 yards out. At 45 minutes, Vozinha pulls off a stunning low save against Torres. Deep in first-half stoppage time, Vozinha tips an Aymeric Laporte header around the post. And then, jumping all the way to the 88th minute, an unbelievable goal-saving block. It was just wave after wave of sheer panic, neutralized by heroic, desperate defending. After the match, literally speaking through tears of joy, Vozinha's words perfectly captured the raw emotion of what they had just pulled off. "We worked a lot for this," he said. "We knew it was going to be very difficult, but we're very happy." This was an immense, completely unified effort by a squad mostly drawn from outside Europe's footballing elite, proving that sheer heart and organization can stand toe-to-toe with absolute superstardom. Part 4, recruited on LinkedIn. Okay, but Vozinha wasn't the only hero here. You absolutely have to hear the wild backstory of the guy who made that massive 88th minute block we just mentioned, Roberto Pico Lopez. This journey is mind-blowing. Born in Dublin, Ireland, to a Cape Verdean dad, right? He used to be a mortgage advisor. Actually, a guy calculating interest rates who got bored with the business. So he's playing for Shamrock Rovers in Ireland, and how does he get called up to the national team? The Federation sent him a direct message in Portuguese on LinkedIn. He actually ignored it at first because he thought it was just spam. And jump forward, he's starting against Spain and making a legendary block at the World Cup. You literally cannot write this stuff.
Lopez is actually the perfect example of a genius dual nationality strategy Cape Verde has been running. Since 2002, they've been actively scouting their global diaspora. Out of their 26-man squad, 14 were born outside the islands. You've got guys like Lopez from Dublin and forward Dalen Livermento, who was born in Rotterdam. They've brilliantly maximized every single resource available to them across the globe to build a highly competitive international team.
Part 5. An unforgettable upset. When that final whistle blew in Atlanta, the contrast was just staggering. Spain's coach openly admitted they lacked freshness. They even brought on their teenage sensation Lamine Yamal in the 70th minute to try and spark some sort of magic, and it just didn't work. Incredibly, Spain had now completed 2,500 passes in World Cup play since their last goal back in 2022. Meanwhile, Cape Verde was quite literally living a dream. They secured their historic first point, and up in the stands their fans were joyously singing Nha Terra, their unofficial anthem, celebrating an impossible reality. And this match didn't just break Spanish hearts, it literally rewrote the record books for both nations, but in completely opposite ways. It was, of course, Cape Verde's first ever World Cup point. Vizinha, at 40 years and 12 days old, became the oldest player to make an appearance in a nation's debut World Cup game. And for Spain, those 27 shots without a goal perfectly tied their worst ever World Cup record, which was set way back in 1998 against Paraguay. Which brings us to the real reason we're doing this explainer today. This historic draw forces us to ask a final provocative question. If a nation of just over 500,000 people, fielding former mortgage advisors and a 40-year-old second division goalkeeper, can hold the mighty European champions to a complete standstill, what really makes a footballing giant? Is it just population, money, and pedigree? Or is it heart, tactical organization, and the sheer unpredictable magic of the World Cup? I'll let you decide. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.